Okay, so in a second. Okay, so hi, my name is Jules Ortega. I'm cursing the subject of English from the level 10 to 12 with the teacher Willio and Jules, and that is my presentation about my final project. I do a little PowerPoint, as you can see, just to help me to explain each point of the project. I will hope that it can represent any problem. So it's just to help. So let's get started. So the first point is, with your own words, define the concept of distance education or learning. So I can say that the distance education is an innovative way of learning and teaching that brings the dynamic of a traditional face-to-face class or presential class to the digital world that we are living in nowadays, or actually. In this way, from anywhere in the world, students and teachers will be able to connect in a virtual environment on their computer using the internet, making an intensive use of the facility offered by the new digital technologies. And that's what I say about the distance education. So let's move on to the next point. So, from different types of distance education or learning, choose the one you belong to and say why. So, into account that there are the following types of education, distance education, is to say e-learning, learning, and relearning, or blended learning. I can say that I actually belong to all three in certain aspects of each one, because in the university in which I'm currently enrolled, it provides methods in which those three methods are involved or present. It's like a mix of these types of distance education of learning. So, to resume, I can say that I have a mix of all the types of distance education or learning. So let's move on to the next point. So, how do you think that distance education or learning has evolved in times until present day? Well, really, I think it has evolved a lot, because it has completely changed the way of receiving education, as well as the relationship between students and teachers, because it has allowed the vast majority of knowledge to be learned without the need to attend a classroom. However, this doesn't represent a benefit, because some areas of knowledge, especially practical ones or practical areas of knowledge, will always need the presence to be fully learning. Is to say, these practical areas of knowledge always need the presential class to get fully learning, basically. So that's what I say about this point. What can I say about this point? So let's move on to the next. So the next point mention the advantage and disadvantage of the government's plans of implementing distance education or learning in public school. So as you can see, I put it in the PowerPoint just to avoid to forget anyone. So in advantage cases, I can say that it allows children who live in homes with a few economic results to acquire their education from their homes. Also, education is delivered by means accessible by almost anyone. Also, another advantage of the government plan of distance education is that the children now remain safer because they didn't have to have to leave their home. It's to say they keep in homes safer, and well, that is advantage basically. So in the case of disadvantage, we have that the both, is to say students and teachers, are going to have to adapt to the change, something that can take a considerable amount of time, a lot of time in some cases. Also, in some cases, students cannot establish good communication with their teachers due to the absence of attendances. Also, the last disadvantage that I can say is basically that some teachers will have nothing to teach because only a certain number of them are chosen to teach the classes through the process and means, for example, TV or radio. Is to say, not all the teachers are chosen to teach their class. It's just a select number of them. So that's all in this point, so let's move on to the last point, I think. Yes, okay. The last point say, if you were one of the government's advisors, what would you suggest in order for distance education or learning to be successful in public schools in the Dominican Republic? Well, honestly, it will be difficult, but I will try to find a way for both, is to say students and teachers, to communicate and learn in the simplest way possible. Because I have seen that is the biggest problem that the current distance education program has. So specifically, I would advise adapting new means and methods that allow distance education to be imparted, offering rapid training courses to allow teachers and students to use these new means and methods optimally. So that's what I say in that point. And I think that's all. So thanks for the attention. And well, that is my presentation of my final project. So goodbye.